Hello and welcome everyone to day 29 in this quest for a 2000 rating on chess.com. And so let's begin here and find an opponent. All right. So the black pieces again. I think almost every game I get the black pieces, it seems like. All right. So d4. We'll start with knight to f6. And see how it goes here. So, all right, so they play c3. We'll play g6 and then do this Grunfeld again, which I think the last few games have been this Grunfeld defense. All right, so in the previous games, I think they captured on d5. Then I recaptured with the knight. Then they attacked. All right, so now let's see here. Do I just develop my bishop here? Or we'll go ahead and just do that and see what they do next. All right. Okay, so what are their options? Well, like I was saying, they could capture the d-pawn. I recapture with the knight. Then they could chase me away with the e-pawn, taking control of the center. But then I would I would capture their knight. They would recapture with the pawn, and then a counterattack here. With the c-pawn. Okay, so they decide to do this instead. All right, interesting. All right, well, okay. Do I go ahead and just let's see. Well, if I bring up this e-pawn, then the knight will be pinned to my queen. If I just play c6, that's a possibility. Is c5 possible here? So maybe c5 attacking their pawn. If I just castle, they could capture my knight and then capture here in the center. All right. Also, should I think about attacking their bishop here with knight to e4? Knight to e4, attacking the bishop. That's a possibility as well. All right, let's go ahead and do that instead of trying to think forever here. All right, well, and then either way, I mean, I could try this attack here on the knight. If they move, but where would be best for them to move to? I mean, I guess they could try and move their bishop here. I could capture their knight. If they capture my knight, which is what I'm guessing they're probably going to do, is take my knight. I'll capture, attacking their knight, which they, I guess, they could jump forward or retreat, attacking my pawn. So I can't remember. I'm still learning these openings, as I said before, but I think this was the move to play to immediately attack that bishop, but then it may get a little complicated. Let's see here. So they're probably going to capture with their knight. Then if I recapture, I don't know if that's the best move. If I recapture, attacking their, well, let's look at that. If they capture, I recapture, attacking their knight. Well, then I guess I could either go after this pawn or, I'm also I also have the option of attacking. Okay, so they decide to do that. All right, so now I should probably, do I go ahead and capture? Maybe go ahead and capture there. So that's probably best, is just to capture their knight, then, or do I, oh, okay, I can't pin it because I haven't moved that C pawn yet. All right, so it looks like I just have to go ahead and do that. Let's see. Yeah, probably just go ahead and capture there. Then they'll recapture with their pawn. I capture their center pawn. At least my queen is centralized, so that is good. So we recapture here, centralizing our queen. Then if they move this E pawn, well, we want to push with this C pawn as well. So I don't know, maybe that'll be next. Push with that C pawn. Castling as well would also be good. All right, well, what will they try and do? Probably play the pawn up here as an option, to help fortify their center. Okay, so that surprised me there. Okay. Well, I could go ahead and threaten to attack here. Do I push this forward? Now I have to watch out for his possible threat here. So if I push this up and attack, he could capture here, capture my knight. Then if I attack with the rook, or recapture with the rook, he could check me and then pick this pawn off. So do I just move here and then threaten to pick this off? So that's a possibility. All right. So I don't know, maybe that looks good to go ahead and do that. But I don't know, that's a good central position for this queen, and it keeps his e-pawn from coming forward. Maybe I should just play c6 here. That blocks any threats of check. All right, I don't know if I go there. Okay, so that is the issue. Him bringing this check up. I mean, do I just go ahead and castle? If I castle and he picks this pawn off, then what can I do? If I attack it, he'll just retreat. Okay, so here's what we're thinking. Well, do I just develop this knight? No. If I castle, he picks this pawn off. If I attack him, he could just retreat, I guess, back to here, guard that. All right, well, we'll just do that, see what he does next. This keeps our queen centralized at least. All right, now do we pin the knight? That is an option as well. Pin the knight to the queen. All right. Let's just do that. We have to develop anyway. All right. All right, so what do we have in this position? The time is dwindling down, so I definitely need to keep an eye on that. At the moment, we have his knight pinned. Let's see here. Will he try to pick off this knight and lure my rook over here? Okay, so he does that. Now I should probably go after this pawn. Do I pick that off? Do I pick that knight off? Get rid of it while I can. Maybe I go ahead and do that, then reposition my queen over here. All right. Well, I could just threaten here to pick that off right away. He's probably going to bring his queen up here. So anyway, I'm burning time. Let's just go after that. All right, so what are we looking at now? We're threatening that. Do we pick this knight off? Then the bishop will have this nice, well, the diagonal is somewhat limited here. All right, this knight, where would be best to place this knight? Where's this knight going? If we put the knight up here, it can't really go anywhere. Do we push forward here? Probably have to put this knight here. Now, will he try to just move his knight up here to e5? If he does that, okay, so he just decides to protect with that. Well, we could just pick this bishop off, or sorry, pick this knight off, develop our knight, or do we just develop our knight now? That might be best to just go ahead and develop that knight already. All right, we have to do something about this. All right, do we reposition here and attack? No, that really doesn't do much. Although, if we go here, attack, he pushes forward. Do we go back here? Probably just need to develop our knight. So that's what we need to focus on. We go here, we go here. Now, one issue is getting our king stuck in the center. So we probably should just go ahead and castle here. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that. We'll castle. Then we can focus on bringing this knight up. All right, we could try this maybe. Capture the knight, the bishop recaptures, then we push up here, attacking their bishop. If they capture with the pawn or that, then we recapture. But then this could be unprotected. So, oh no, we're pushing that. Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and do that. We're running out of time. We don't have much time to sit there and think about it. All right, so either way, all right. Well, the problem is he could just back his bishop up and then well, if we capture, then we can't push that pawn forward. So I don't know. We're going to end up having an open board with his bishop pair, and that could be trouble. So, and then this could be a potential weakness down here. I need to activate this knight in a hurry. All right. So now, do we just develop this knight? Just develop the knight. Do we just capture here, then develop our knight? Or just develop this knight now? Probably develop the knight now, I would say. Oh, but if he pushes that forward, well, I guess we could just capture. So, oh, wrong piece. All right, so we'll just develop our knight. Develop the knight. Okay, and then there is the pressure on the open file, the half open file there. So we just jumper knight up here. Um, Maybe just go there. See what they do. See what they do. All right, so, oh man, now I'm really running low on time. I need to just pick off this pawn next, I guess. Pick off the pawn, then try to eliminate his bishop. Definitely need to work on that. I don't know. It's looking kind of rough here, so I probably misplayed the opening a little bit. I don't know. I feel like I come out in a position with a little bit of with some problems. So, you know, what might they do? Will they just push this pawn forward? No. Okay. Well, I probably... Do I pick this off? Let's go ahead and do that. I don't have time to sit around and think so much. At least this gives my queen room to move along this rank here. Okay, so that makes sense. Now we have to do something about our rooks. So what can we do? What can we do? Well, might as well take the open file here. All right, and I better watch out because I'm going to end up running out of time. Okay, so what are the options here? You could place something there, cause issues. I mean, I guess I could bring this rook out and try and do something with that. Bring this rook here. Okay, let's just go ahead and do that. All right, now what? I guess I could have attacked his queen. No, because then if he captures, my knight recaptures, he picks off this pawn here. So that is going to be a problem. Will he maneuver in here? Probably not. Okay, so we might as well bring the other rook out now. If he forks both the pieces, well then I'll have to move. He could start attacking here. This could be an issue. All right. All right, well, I got to do something. Might as well centralize the rooks. But he could try and attack, or he could attack this way. If he does that, then we could just move up here. Okay, so he decides to do that. He's going to give us doubled pawns, it looks like. Okay, so let's go ahead and attack. See what he does. If he takes that knight, I don't know, I guess I'm fine with that. I'll have doubled pawns. And I can try and push forward here. Oh, although he could go here and restrain that pawn from moving forward. Okay. Oh, and he has this possibility right here of trying, if I move this pawn, he could try and, you know, at some point line his bishop up on these two rooks. So he'll probably retreat back to here, I would imagine. You know, and then what do I do? Do I just line up here? I don't know. The position is kind of open, so you know it could be a problem with these bishops, and my time is low. At least his time is running pretty low as well. So what are we thinking here? What might he do? Let's see. Well, at least now I'm protecting this pawn, and that could free up my knight. Oh, does he have a way to attack my queen? Well, he could just pile up here. No, well, he can't do that because he has to do something about his bishop here. So where is this bishop going? If he captures, well, then we just recapture, of course, with the pawn. If he retreats, he can't go here. We just pick him off and then go after this pawn. Okay, so he decides to do that. We have to capture like this. Now will he just push this pawn to restrain this? He could just push this pawn forward to restrain my pawn from pushing forward. Or he could try and push here. Let's see. He could try and push this pawn forward, then try and push and go for this bishop move here to try and grab these. Sorry, put his bishop here on b5 and attack that way. Okay, so here, what do I need to do? I need to probably just get on a dark square. So dark square, and I'm running low on time, so we'll just go ahead and do that. Go for a dark square. I'm lining up here, so that could be a threat. Oh, a back rank mating threat that he might not see. We could go after this pawn here. Will that work? Can we go after that pawn with our bishop? Okay, we could even, can we even do it now? He may have seen that trick. So if we go after that, he captures, and we capture. He's got that covered. So we want to go ahead and do that. Okay, now want to attack his queen. Why not? Why not attack that queen? Now, where could he move his queen? Man, I'm really running low on time here. Okay, so he captures, forcing me to capture. Oh, now we can pick that off. So we might as well do it. Okay. Now, do we push forward and attack him? I would say, yes, let's attack. Okay, so now we have that threat. We just keep pushing forward, I assume. So we'll just keep pushing forward here. We have to watch our time. I probably need to get my king up here off of this diagonal. Okay. Now, okay, he does that. Well, we might as well just keep going here. At least he'll be left with an isolated pawn. I don't know. I think the time trouble is getting me, and he's going to have that extra pawn. At least I can push forward here, go after his king there. Okay, do I want to do that? No. I want to, well, I want to go after that. I probably should have all right, we need to do something. We should have done that immediately. Should have done that immediately. All right, so we have to go after him. Okay, at least now we're on that pawn. And we may be able to salvage a draw out of this. Because of the position of his pieces here. Well, the position of his rook. So anyway, when you have rooks, you can still hold a draw when you're one pawn behind many times, if you're careful. But oh, now he's running low on time. So let's go after that pawn. And he's really low on time there. At least we picked that off. All right. Okay, so what do we want to do now? We'll go there, guard that. Attack. All right. And then we'll just attack him. And this should be a draw. And we'll just go back and forth and attack his pieces here. Right, go ahead and do that. Now we just go there. All right, well, I mean, I guess I could offer a draw because this game is obviously a draw, I guess I could keep playing, see if they run out of time. But this game is definitely a draw. Now I get a pawn out of it, an extra pawn here, which all right. Now I do have to be careful here. If I go there, then go here. And just see what they do now. Okay, so now I could swing back around here, threaten their king. I guess I might as well go here. Just do that. All right, so now I can, well, could do, I have to be careful here. Okay, do I just attack them? You know, that might be the best move. Just go ahead and attack there. And protect the pawn. Because now his king has been blocked off there. So now I'm probably, you know, kind of winning here. So, do I just press forward here? We'll just do that. And then if he checks me, I can just pick off this other pawn, and I'm threatening to check him. So we might as well just push forward here. And if he tries to check me, I can just pick off one pawn. So we'll just keep pushing the pawn forward. Now we can threaten to pick off the other pawn. Okay, we'll just do that, pick his other pawn off, and now we should be winning, actually. And that game should have been a draw. So, all right. We might as well just pick that off. Then go here. Now we can start pushing the other pawn forward. All right, let's check him. And, oh, did I make a mistake there? I guess I made a mistake. That was bad. If I go there to guard that and he picks off the other one, all right, well, I need to at least do that and just march forward. Did I end up throwing it away? I shouldn't have given up this other pawn. Should not have done that. Okay, well, at least he did that. And now we can cut him off. Okay. Okay, so what do we do here? Do we just push forward here? We'll just do that. Now we can push the other pawn forward. Okay. Well, all right, I'm making this way harder than it should be. So, way harder than it should be. This should be, it should have been a little more simple than this. Okay, so I need to get my rook behind the pawn. So if I go back here, well, then he's just going to block that. If I go there, no. All right, well, we need to block him out by doing that. Then now what about this? If we attack, he goes down here. If we go up here, what if we do that now? All right, do we threaten that now to just take that? Oh, did I just run out of time? Oh my gosh, okay. That was horrible. I can't believe I ran out of time. Okay, man, I deserve that. That was terrible. Sorry, guys. I can't believe I was so focused that I just ran out of time. So I needed to push forward here. Oh, come on. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Ran out of time. All right, well, I have to work on the time trouble every game. Oh my gosh, that was so bad. All right, I was thinking about moving this rook up here. Moving the rook up. If they captured, and then we capture. If they didn't capture, well, then we could just retreat back and then push that forward. Oh, man. I just made that way more difficult than it should have been. All right, well, I'll end the video there, and then, well, I'll just hurry up and do a quick game review and analysis all in one video. If you stuck around this far, if you want to see the game review, well then hang on and watch it, and we'll see what we should have done there in the end game. All right, so game review. we played at 86% versus their 84.9. We did have one great move. All right, so inaccuracies. We both had 6. They had 3 mistakes to our 1. They had 1 miss. We had 3 misses. And then they had a blunder. Okay. Oh, man. That's rough to lose a game like that. All right. I need to watch that clock. Okay, so let's see here. So in the review, man, it just blasted right through all those moves. The Grunfeld defense, Petrosian system. All right. So at this point, our queen is centralized. Man, it's really blasting through these moves. So I guess I'll have to take a better look at things in the... So that's a blunder. Did I miss that blunder? It looks like I did. So, yeah, I'll have to take a better look at things in the analysis. So, we have an unprotected piece. Oh, did I have the opportunity? I think I did. To capture with my rook here instead of the bishop. Yeah, I'm thinking this. Capture here with the rook instead, threatening their bishop. They can't capture my rook because then we just deliver a back rank mate. So it looks like their best move would have been to move this rook over. So, man, I missed another tactic here. I think I kind of saw it, but didn't even think about capturing with the rook instead. So that would attack their bishop. And, well, we'll take a look at that in the analysis. So let's press forward here. So we did this, which was wrong. We should have captured that pawn with the rook. Man. All right. Well, we're learning here in this these new openings, or at least trying to improve as we learn them. All right. So then we just go into this end game here, which man, can't believe I did that. Okay, so this was a mistake. The game was close to equal, but now black has the advantage. So all right, so that was a mistake right there. Rook to g5 is a mistake. Checking would have been better. Then that is a mistake. All right, and then so this is a mistake. I'm thinking I can just push my rook up here and attack his rook and take control of this square to help march this pawn forward. If he captures my rook and I capture with the pawn, the king will have to capture, but then I will be able to take the opposition in the end game, which is what I was about to try and do until I ran out of time. So it says you had a pretty competitive game there. Your opponent had a good opening, but you were on another level. I guess I played the opening okay then. Both of you navigated the middle game well, and you both played a nice end game. So opening, they played 97.7. I played 98.3. Middle game, they played 84.7. I played 83.5. So a little trouble in the middle game. Well, not trouble, I guess, but could have played it a little better. 82.5 in the end game for them, 84.8. So close game. And I'll look at this in the analysis. I think I should have, maybe pushed up here and attacked his rook. Because like I said, if they capture, I capture, the king has to capture that pawn. And so then I would be able to grab the opposition and have a winning endgame with the opposition with this pawn. And we'll look at that in the analysis. So let's dive into this analysis. All right. Go back to the beginning here. Okay, so we played, they played d4. We played knight to f6 to stop their e4 pawn push, and also to wait and see what they do. They play c4 because they can't play e4, so they grab the center with these two pawns. And then we get ready to fianchetto our bishop. And after they make this move, which threatens to play e4, now we play the Grunfeld defense. So we went from a King's Indian defense to the Grunfeld, where you push to d5 to prevent this e-pawn from moving forward. Now if they capture, you capture with the knight, and then they can push that e-pawn forward, but you'll be able to knock out their knight here, and then they'll recapture with their b-pawn. So they'll have strong pawns in the center, but they'll have this isolated a-pawn. And then you can try and play c5 and chip away at the center. So they didn't go through with that plan. Instead, they just develop here. So now it says the best move is bishop to g7, which is what I played, and we're still in book moves. So now they play bishop to g5, but we play... let's see, knight to e4, which was best. And now it looks like moving to h4 or f4 are about equal. So they captured here. And it looks like knight capturing and getting rid of their bishop pair would have been the best move. I played knight takes c3, but that's not as good. So it looks like I should have... Well, let's take a look at this. This is what I should have played. Knight captures, and then they would capture. Oh, okay, I see. If they capture, well, now we can play e6, attacking their knight and this pawn at the same time. So a little tricky there. We play e6, attacking their knight with our queen, and then they would play queen to a4 check, which is best. But here it says we should play c6. And then, we'll be down a pawn, it looks like. Well, we can target this pawn. So, man, yeah, this is tricky. So we go here. Then they capture this pawn. All right. Threatening a discovered check. If they capture here with check, then they can capture our rook and promote to a queen. So we have to, well, we could capture with the b pawn, but it's better to capture with our knight. Now we're putting even more pressure here, and we're still attacking their knight. So it looks like knight to f3 would be best. And then now it's showing, it's saying to ignore this pawn and develop our bishop and line it up on their queen. So if we do that, then it looks like queen retreating to here would be better. And then queen to b6 to put more pressure on that pawn. This is pretty crazy. And now queen to d2. But we have 1, 2, 3 attackers. They only have 2 defenders. They could just play e3, and if they do that, well, then we pick off this pawn. Okay, so they need to protect this pawn. Man, this is kind of crazy. So finally, our knight can go ahead and attack here. Then castling queenside is actually the best move. Man, this is pretty crazy stuff here. And then rook to d8. Rook to d8. Then knight captures. Oh, man. Well, this is a very interesting line to look at here. Then we have bishop to c6. And now if the knight were to capture here, well, then we would capture their queen. So e3 to protect. Then we play e5, queen to e1, lining up on our king. We capture, they capture with a discovered check. Our king moves to f8. Man, this is a long, crazy line in this opening. And then d5, pushing forward, attacking our bishop. But it looks like best is just to retreat to d7. And then queen to e3, attacking our queen. Queen to e3. Well, now we're almost playing a whole game here. Sorry, guys, but I don't know. This is pretty interesting stuff. So it looks like best is avoiding the queen trade, you know, letting them take this pawn, I guess. So queen to d6 here. And now, so now it's saying we should have just captured there. But it doesn't recommend this capture here. Why is that? Why is that? Well, then I guess we could recapture. We could check. Well, they could just block. Okay. So maybe we'll take a quick look at that. So now it's recommending bishop to d3 here. So, you know, what happens if they capture that? Well, now we have rook to c8 lining up on the, you know, lining up on the king here. All right, anyway, before I go too deep into that, let's finish this game review. So, I mean, I guess we could go all the way back to the beginning real quick. So, d4, knight to f6. So we play this Grunfeld. They attack here. We attack their bishop. Now they capture our pawn, and instead we played... it's tied for second with bishop to f5, but we capture, they capture, queen captures, and now e3 would have been better there. So the computer doesn't like that move as much. It wants e3. So let's see, e3 would have been best. You know, which lets you get your other bishop out and threaten to push this pawn and start harassing the queen. So, you know, that's one possibility. So now, let's see. We were at this bishop retreat here. Okay. So the bishop retreated to f4. And then... you know, that's attacking this pawn. It looks like best is to ignore that attack and just play knight to d7 or castle, or even push c5 here. Okay, but what did we play? C6, I believe. So C6, which is good, but you know. Oh, and also now it's recommending queen to A5, which I think we did later. Okay, so we go there. They play E3, although it wanted the queen to march over here and attack our queen. So now we pin the knight, but knight to D7 would have been better. Okay, so knight to D7. Knight to D7 is what it liked. And then after that, we have queen to C2, you know, or even bishop to D3, bishop to E2. Anyway, either moving the queen or developing this bishop. So now, in the game, we pin the knight. They break the pin, which is best. And then we play queen to A5, but now the computer doesn't like that. It says that E5 would have been better. Huh. E5. Okay. I mean, I guess we could take a look at that. E5. D takes would have been best. And then queen captures. Rook captures. Develop our knight, attacking this pawn. Rook to B1. Now they want us to go back here and attack this pawn. And now recommended is knight to C5. Okay. Or B6. It's also saying B6. But then they want H4. Then castle, knight to D4. Anyway, that's how, you know, or a possibility of how the game could have gone. But after they break our pin, we play queen to A5. We attack that pawn and they protect it with their queen. Now we go ahead and castle. But already we see that it's +1 in white's favor here. So now we capture their knight, which is second best. Once again, it really wants that knight to D7 move. So we capture, they capture. We play E5. Let's see what they think about that. Oh, actually E5 was best there. So E5, or I guess that or knight to D7 once again. They were about equal. So retreating is best, keeping your bishop pair. And now knight to D7, so it likes that. Rook attacking this unprotected pawn is best. And blocking with the knight, it likes that. And bishop to E2. So that is an inaccuracy. H4 would have been better. So H4. I guess that leaves an escape route for your bishop. It threatens to try and pry open the black's king side a little bit. I mean, I guess we could. It likes H5 here to stop the momentum of that pawn. So, you know, after H5, then we would have rook to B3. Also, it wants F5 as well, I guess. All right. Well, back to what actually happened in the game. After rook attacks, knight blocks, the bishop retreats here, trying to put some pressure down this diagonal, keep the knight out of the position here. So we capture, and that's an inaccuracy. So what is it like here? Instead, it prefers rook at A to D8, just centralizing the rook here immediately. And it's also saying f5 once again. It really likes that move. Which, I mean, I guess that could help you push this pawn up and kind of try and lock up the center a little bit maybe. But I don't know. Let's see. f5. Then they would capture here. We would capture. Bishops are traded off. The queen would end up in the center there. And then, anyway, before I veer off again. So, here we go. Knight blocks. They reposition their bishop. We capture in the center, which is an inaccuracy. They capture towards the center, and then they have two strong central pawns. Then we centralize our rooks, but they would rather that we go here to d8. Okay, so now they do the same thing. Another inaccuracy here. They want you to pile up your rooks here on this half-open B file. So we centralize our other rook. They attack here, forking our rook and our knight. So we attack them. They capture. Better would have been to retreat and keep your bishop pair. So we recapture, of course. And now it looks like a4, which is what I thought they might do. a4 here to prevent this pawn from pushing forward, and it could be a permanent target there. So they play this blunder, which I totally overlooked, capturing with the rook here, because we're lining up with a back rank mate threat. So what should they have played? The computer wants that a4 move, it looks like. So once again, a4. And then we could pile up with rook to a8. And then it looks like queen to e4 here, centralizing the queen and ignoring this pawn. All right. So this was the blunder that was played. And so in the game, I just double my rooks, but I should have immediately captured here. So have to work on those tactics. I am doing daily tactics problems to try and brush up on my tactics. I don't know, I'm just missing too much here. Let's see. So we captured. And it did say we both played at a 1900 level in that game, so I don't know. I gotta play a little better and watch the clock, man. Okay, so we're attacking the rook here, and so best would be just to retreat, or not. We're attacking their bishop with our rook. Excuse me. So best would be just to retreat, keep an eye on these pawns, and now rook to d2, attacking the queen. Let's see, or b5. It also likes b5 there. So now, what do they recommend? Queen to b3, keeping an eye on this. But it looks like we can pick that off with rook captures, but that's only the third best move, because then they could capture down here. All right, so looks like rook to b2. Interesting. How does that work? Rook to b2 is recommended here. So if they just capture, won't they come out a bishop ahead? Oh, they can't because of that back rank mate threat. Oh, man. Okay, so the queen would have to move. And then we have queen to d3 is best. And now we can play b5. So b5, start trying to push our pawns. And now it looks like queen to d7. How does it even like that? It's saying white should go queen. Okay, I'm thinking something else. Queen to d7, just attacking. So move the queen up here, attack our rook, and then we just move back here to help protect the pawn. So, you know, something like, well, excuse me, you have to move that first. Then we do something like this to protect. And now queen to d6 to go ahead and attack that. And now it wants rook to a8. So to go here, line up on this. Queen to e7, going after that pawn. And then either rook to a7 or back to b8. But anyway, something like that. So in the game, after their blunder, we did not take that pawn. We went and doubled our rooks up here, you know, because I'm thinking, oh, I can capture with the bishop. And so I guess I overlooked the more forceful and earlier attack with the rook. And what do they do here? Bishop to e2 to block that threat. So now we push our pawn, and it says that's excellent. h3. I guess that was a waiting move to see, you know, what they want to do, or see what I want to do. You know, and to give, oh, sorry, that was also to give their king some room to escape, so they don't have back rank mate threats. So now we have queen to a4, and that is not the best move. It looks like rook to d7 would have been better. So this is what they wanted. Rook to d7. And you know, after that, there are different options here. Moving their rooks. Okay, so instead, after h3, we played queen to a4, attacking their queen. And that was not best. So now the game is in white's favor slightly. And they, what did they do next here? So they captured, I believe. So capture, and it undoubled our pawns. Now we have bishop to d1 attacking there. Now, should I have just pushed forward? Possibly. Possibly I should have just pushed that pawn all the way up, maybe. You know, and get it off of the light square. That's the second best move. Is a3. Best is to take, which, yeah, is what I did in the game. All right, so, and what they should have done instead is rook at e to d1. Rook at e to d1 there. All right. So rook at e to d1. And now it doesn't want us to capture there. Oh, well, of course, because they could just capture with the rook. And it looks like rook to a8 to back up this pawn. You know, but I was thinking, you know, should I push forward here and then back it up? Get it off of the light squares. Okay, so back to the game. We had bishop to d1 move, which allowed us to capture, which is best, because they can't capture this bishop, or we just take their rook. So they captured this pawn here. And then, which is best, we played b5, but it looks like bishop to c5 would have been better. Bishop to c5, just immediate, keeping the bishops on board there. So now bishop to c5 is what it wants. And then we would have bishop to b3, just protecting this pawn. But now the computer is also saying b5 is best. So if we go back, b5 was played. And let's see here. We had the retreat of the bishop. And now it's saying once again we should have retreated our bishop, because now they can just play that. So we go ahead, play c4, which it says is a great move. Yeah, it looks like, I don't know. Either way, we're going to be behind in material here, so we should have moved that bishop. They capture, we capture, and then we have rook captures. We grab the 7th rank here. They capture, we capture, and now this move. So we need to keep the, we don't want to trade here. If we capture and they capture, well, they're just a pawn ahead in the end game. And if we go here, they can just push up another pawn and protect. All right, so we play this. And it says capturing would have been best. Okay, so I stand corrected. The computer, well, now it's saying that's not the best down here. So anyway, I was behind in material, so I didn't want to trade off more material. So we have that. And maybe I should have just immediately moved over where I can grab the 7th rank here. So now I do that. They push their pawn. I go up here. They protect, which allows me to get in behind the pawn. So rooks are always stronger behind either your pawns or your opponents. And now they push forward to wait and see what I do, I guess. I go here, and they double up. So I go ahead and capture, and now they start attacking. So let's see here. It's just going to go back and forth for a little bit. All right. So we go ahead and capture finally. And now we're just even in material, and this should have been a draw. So I play this move to prevent them from pushing forward and restricting the movement of my pawns here. So they try and activate their king. I go up here to restrict the king. And now they move here to the 7th rank. So I just move back to try and keep their king out. Then I get as far away from their king as I can. They move here to try and maybe block me off, especially if I check. So I just move back and forth. They continue pushing, and we just hold with our rook. And now we have this, which it says that is best. And best for me is to capture. They capture, and then to capture with the rook. But now, let's see, it looks like rook to a7 or b7 is best, but they push forward, and it says that's still excellent. And the game, it's kind of a toss-up. Here it says it's about even. Down here, it says black has the advantage, but It looks like it would have been better to move here immediately. Okay. Okay. Boom. Now, it actually wants king to f4 here. So I was wondering if he was going to push forward or not. But anyway, he moves up here, rook to d4, and it says that's a mistake. So we'll have to see why that is a mistake. It recommends rook to d3, king to f4, rook to d2. I mean, I guess rook to d3 would be a decent move because it would kind of restrict your king. This pawn could push forward and be protected, I guess. But it doesn't even like that. It says that's an inaccuracy. So wait, what did it say was best? Best is king to f4. So anyway, after this rook move, which is a mistake, f6 is what it wants. So f6. So I made a mistake of playing rook to e1 check, which is the third best, but f6 here would have been better. So with that move, looks like king to d5. If the king moved forward here, well, then we could just check and block him out, push this pawn, and move up here, and then try and move in here. So in the game, we had rook to d4. Then this move, which is a miss, f6 checking would have been better. And then king to d5, but that is a miss. And better would have been, let's see, king to f4, retreating back. So king to f4 would have been best here. And then it shows what? Rook to h1. I guess to help try and guide this up. I would have thought rook to g1 to cut the king off. Keep the king out of the position. So, and that's kind of what I try to do in the game. All right, so let's get back to this when this video is already going quite long. Okay, so they retreat. We move up. H5 would have been better. H5 would have been better. Hold on now. So here it's saying we're pretty much winning with king to f6 or h5. Now if we played h5, they could move over here and attack that pawn. There's no way to protect it. Well, let's take a look at it. H5. Now, what if they just attack that? Oh, I guess we could just move up here and protect it. Okay. So, anyway, in the game, we had king to f4. Then we played... where were we at? Sorry, in the game, we had rook to e1. The king moved to d5. We move up to f6. So it's showing black has a, looks like a winning advantage at this point. We have an attack there. We move up and we attack the rook, which it says is excellent, but just taking this pawn would have been best. So They retreat. We push here, but we're still ahead. What should we have done? H5 would have been better to just get this pawn moving. So we do that. Their king moves up. Now we push this forward. And then it's saying rook to g2 check is better. They go up towards our rook. We push forward. They attack. We move here attacking their pawn. They check. And now, oh man, this is quite interesting. It's saying that we should have captured here with the king, or even king to f4. So in the game, what did we do? Oh man, we retreated to here. Yeah, we should have just picked that pawn off. King to h5 is the third best move, but we still have a pretty good advantage. King to rook to g6 now. So they play rook to h2. It says that's best. Now we should play king to g4 for a big advantage, but we don't do that. We capture. King starts moving in. Now we move over here and let the king in even more, and we should not have done that. Instead, we should have played rook to f1 or king up to g4 here. So I don't know. I like rook to f1. Now it's saying, you know, you could have king to e2 attacking, but now the rook just jumps all the way down here, and we keep that king out of there. King back up to e3. So, I don't know. Now it's saying king to g4. Rook to g2. King to h5. Rook to g7, trapping the king. King to h2. Oh, or even blocking like this. Because now it's saying you can go up to g4 here. But then we have h3. So we go back. King to h2 or g5. Anyway, king to h2. Now it's saying, you know, maybe king to e4, rook to f1. King moves back up this way. Finally, h3. And then what? King to d2. Wouldn't you want to just go after this? Rook to h7 is what it looks like is best. Get behind the passed pawn. But then that allows what? King to g2. Rook to g7 check. King to h what? h1. Rook to h7. h2. And then it says to just bring this rook back away, all the way to b7. Then what now? King to G1 is what it likes. King to G1. Rook to G7 check. That would force the king back into there. We retreat away. Now king to G2. Something like this. King to H3. Rook to H7 check. Huh, are we just trapped in there? We go G3, G7, they'll just check us back and forth. All right, H4, rook to H7, king back to G3, rook to G7. Is there a way out of this? H3, check. Okay, go there. Now what? I don't know. I think we got to get in there. Then we have to move our rook down and block. Rook to G6. Rook to F5. King to E4 attacking. Rook to G5. And then capture. King to G1. Yeah, and then that would probably do it there. All right, sorry about that. That took forever. So let's finish out the final few moves. King to E3. Then we had rook to G5. So instead, it didn't like that rook to G5 move. It says rook to F1 would have been better. King to F4. How many moves do we have left? Rook to G4 check. King to F5. It does not like that. It says instead king to E3 would have been better to back away. But they move up going after that pawn. So now it looks like rook to G1 would be better. Huh. All right, anyway, this is some complicated stuff here. So if we do that, rook to G3, it does not recommend capturing that pawn, because then I guess you get your king up here and you can help escort and attack up here, and it kind of blocks their king out. So that is the best move, to just move back up. And then it does not like this move. It says that instead, what would be better? Rook to G1 up here. So we retreat back, a mistake. They block and it doesn't like that either. Because now it says either rook to G1 or rook to G4. So, I guess we'll see why here in the end. Rook to A5, it doesn't like that either. Says rook to G4 would have been better. Okay, so we have that. What should we do now? Okay, anyway, this is where I ran out of time. which was ridiculous. So the game could have gone with this. King moves, we go up here. They move, h3. If they attack that, but it says it would have been better to go up because now our king gets in the game. Now rook to f3 to block off any attacks and, you know, to check the king. So if I go back here and look at this, if I would have played, now it's saying rook to g4. Let's see, or that's g3. So it doesn't like that. I mean, obviously, here's why they can't capture. Because then we do that, they capture, and then we go here and we grab the opposition. And from here, you know, what do? They try and maybe get in front of the pawn. If they try and do that, we just go here and hold the opposition. Now, if they move to the side, or if they back up, we just step forward. So let's see here. I mean, either way we could do it. If they go like this, then we just jump forward here. If they try and go down here after our pawn, we just, you know, press that pawn forward. So it looks like king to g4, king to f2 even. You know, if they try and stay back in front of the pawn, we just grab the opposition again. And then now they're going to be forced to move. You know, if they go to the side like this, well then, let's see, what can we do? King to g3. And no matter what they do, we're going to march this pawn up here. So let's say they try and go there. Well, now we can start marching. You know, if they try and keep the opposition, well, then we can just keep pushing forward. Now we have the opposition. If they try and get in front of the pawn, we just do that. Then they're going to have to move to the side, and then we grab control of the queening square. So anyway, that is like another possibility that could have played out. But anyway, I ran out of time. The video went really long. I had been splitting it up in 2 different videos. So I don't know. Let me know if you prefer the 2 different videos, or if you don't want that, you know, whatever. Leave comments. All right, thank you everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to leave comments or suggestions as always, and any requests for any chess topics you would like to see. So thank you everyone, and have a super chess day.